Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the About Soccer podcast. We are back in the compound alongside Cal and Haas. Um, Quite an interesting week in the Prem this week. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to preview a couple new segments this episode. Hopefully, this will be our format moving forward. So, a little way to round up the week in the world of football is we're going to go and do something called the good, the bad, and the ugly. So every week, one of us is going to pick a story, either a good, a bad, or an ugly, and we are going to chat about it. This week, I am doing the good, Callum is doing the bad, and Hassan is doing the ugly, and it's an ugly one. And then at the end of the episode, we'll start a new little thing. Us three we'll pick each a matchup for the upcoming week of the Prem, and we'll do a little accumulator or a parlay, as we call it in North America. And if we win, we'll put our winnings into the week after, and we'll keep pushing it and see how far we get. And if we lose, then we'll start back at zero and yeah, see how far we go. So. Without further ado, into episode 3 of the podcast, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Um, this week, I want to talk about the good before we get into your stories because Hassan's pretty grim. Um, so this week, Arsenal, we won our match against Bournemouth
hmm
in convincing fashion, and at one point in the match, we got a pen. We were up 3-0, and usually Jesus or Odegaard or Saka take the penalties. And at this point, the boys came together and they gave the penalty to Havertz. Um, and it was a bit of a heartwarming story because afterwards, you saw in the press, Arteta came out and said, this is why I manage the football team. This is what I love to see. This is the character I love to see from my players. So they had banded together on the pitch, and without Arteta saying anything, had given the penalty to Havertz. They knew he's been working hard in training. He's been struggling. The fans have been getting on him, and he bagged the goal. The fans got behind him in the stadium. It was a bit of a little tear in the eye kind of moment. But, you know, for one, I think that's a really kind of beautiful story in a sense, but I do want to expand on it in the sense that so many times you've seen two people go for the ball and, like every team has their penalty taker, and no matter what the situation, they take the penalty. Somebody could be on a hat trick. Nah, he's taking the penalty. Somebody could be on a brace. He's taking the penalty. Somebody could be one goal away from the golden boot or struggling or something like that, and that guy's taking the penalty. And I've always thought that was kind of ludicrous. Like a penalty is obviously if it's a close game and you want that guy on the ball, you put him there. But there's so many opportunities to give somebody a confidence boost,
Yeah,
give somebody a great moment in front of his fans or whatever. And I feel like there's too often the players on the pitch don't allow that to
but it's
happen.
not just
So
the players on the pitch. You're also overriding them what the manager wants and is drilled in training. You say that's a key point. You said Arteta was openly happy about it,
yeah,
but a lot of managers wouldn't be.
yeah, but
Because
that's
imagine,
why not?
well, let me tell you. Because imagine if he imagine if he missed, and you're on 1-1, and it was the dying minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm not.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why it's not down to the players who takes the penalties. It's down to the manager.
No, I'm saying it's not. If it's 1-1, I understand. Okay, if it's a very tense situation, you want that man on the ball, your man. I'm talking more if it's a 2-0, a 3-0. You're clearly in control of the game. You have a chance to give somebody a big moment. I forget who it was. It was Neymar and Cavani, was it, at PSG?
Yeah,
And I think Cavani was on like a hat trick, and Neymar refused to give him the penalty, and it just caused a huge rift in
I mean,
the.
it's happened before, even in the Premier League.
It's
Yeah.
just so weak. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what would have happened though if he had missed it though?
and I was thinking the reverse side, like he misses, and then his confidence is
Yeah,
completely shot after that.
completely shot, and
Yeah.
then you say you're 3-1 up, and then you didn't bury the game, and then they go and score 2 goals in like the 90th minute. Like,
No, I'm just talking about it from like a confidence perspective. Just talking about that game specifically. What would have happened if Havertz had missed it? I feel like first of all, do you guys think that penalty will? I mean, obviously goals do help, but like, do you
they,
think that will because he hasn't really shown
They
any good
help. They
signs
help.
of.
They
Of course,
help.
they help. Of
They
course,
help.
goals help.
Well, the fans, just for the reaction in the
The
stadium,
stadium,
like,
yeah.
Havertz could have been like, oh, I'm out of favor with the fans because he's been getting a bit of negative press, and the fans
It's
have been on
crap.
him a
That's
little
why.
bit. Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm not,
just,
I'm not bigging him up. I just thought it was a good moment,
I just
and
wonder if what's going through his head when he's about to take it, if he's thinking, "Oh man, if I miss this, I'm gonna be the subject of so many more memes and
Yeah.
whatnot." I just
it
feel
could
like,
have backfired.
yeah,
But I just feel like there's opportunities that are passed up a lot
yeah.
to kind of re-engage a player. If a player, like imagine.
Can I have the opposite effect though? Like, I know my personality, and I'd be thinking if all my team goes, "Go on, Callum, there's the ball. You got an opportunity to score now." I'd be like, "Fuck, I want to do this on my merit, not the fact that I'm a joke right now."
Yeah, kind of, but I do think, like you said, goals give you confidence, and I think it's a currency, especially for forward types of players, right? Like Havertz was scoring goals and assisting in his previous clubs, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't been doing it obviously at Arsenal
Was
yet.
he?
Yeah, no, I mean not
Not at
obviously.
Chelsea.
No, that's what I mean. Was he?
But like for example, like, I don't know if you guys remember there was a period where Real Madrid fans were kept booing Benzema. He was on a run where he wasn't playing too well,
Mm,
and I think Ronaldo denied himself a hat trick. He picked up the ball. He was telling the crowd first, like, stop,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
stop, stop, stop.
yeah,
And then he won a penalty and gave it to Benzema to take it. And like I said, it's their currency. So I think Havertz as a forward, he needs the goals, he
yeah.
needs the assists. So I don't think
I agree.
they
I
would
agree
think
with
about it
that.
like
I
that.
also, yeah, I guess like just on the flip side, the argument I just put forward that it's also nice knowing that people are behind you. So you think,
Yeah,
okay, like the club, my teammates have not turned on me.
That's what I was gonna say in your that way you presented it. One, I could picture it like, oh, they're babying me
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
struggling.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
just,
We put
like,
kind of that.
come on, Kai, get. But at the same time, you could say like he knows his teammates are backing him,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're like, come on, mate,
yeah,
it's about
let's get you on the board and let's go, let's move
it's about the
on.
camaraderie, the respect,
yeah,
the
yeah,
brotherhood.
yeah.
You
No,
know,
I get it. I get it.
do you guys think though when
So
somebody's
shit, don't he?
putting down like Havertz, for example, and he's putting down the penalty, or just anybody, do you guys think through their minds, like, do they ever think about, oh man, if I miss this, I'm gonna be subject of so much social
Well,
media abuse or
definitely.
whatever?
The pressure goes up
I
tenfold.
I can't imagine what that must feel like.
I mean, that's why penalties are,
Yeah,
and that's the argument for giving it to one guy because only one
They're
man has to
there's
worry about it.
they're a specialist thing for sure.
Yeah, and
yeah,
he doesn't, he's the only one who has to worry about it.
yeah.
Mm,
Then doesn't have to enter anyone's mind. They know, okay, Penn, he's taking
mm.
it. I'm off the hook.
But like just going by what Hassan was saying earlier as well, that especially for those players, one goal just kind of can relight a fire, and you can start banging in more goals. It gives you that confidence booster. So yeah, goal is currency, and it is important, I think.
Yeah, and there's just been so many, like I said, that PSG moment
Hmm.
where I'm just like, what are these, like two teammates squabbling over
Yeah,
who's going to take a penalty? Like in my shoes, we play Sunday League. In my shoes, if I had a friend on a hat trick, I'd be like, mate, like
Yeah,
please,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's 2-3-0. I'd be like, please take the ball.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're scum. That's you
Um,
get an assist anyways for winning a pen, don't you?
yeah, but what if you didn't win the pen? You still gonna give it?
Not that greedy, obviously.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess like you said, if the game's done and buried, and it is just a consolation goal for them, then there's no harm, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, what I think it actually does show in this situation, this is like a bit outside the original topic, but
Yeah.
it shows that Arteta has managed to create a team with people that actually like each other
Hmm.
Mm,
and that support each other
yeah.
and that are willing to do that. Whereas at PSG, I think everybody could see that was not a
Of
team.
Well,
course
no,
not.
And there was a ton of riffs and players like, fuck this
yeah,
guy, like this is
mercenary.
my pen, I want my
They're all
stats.
mercenaries, right?
Yeah. So I think that in the scope of the good,
Yeah.
especially as an Arsenal fan, it really shows that whatever Arteta is doing is
Yeah.
working
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
you do see some teams out there where it's just a bunch of
Of
individuals
course.
running around. Everybody just wants their goals and assists. They couldn't give less of a fuck
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
their
No,
teammates.
it's
They're all
definitely,
fighting for their own brand. Exactly
yeah.
what's going on at United.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful moment because I don't think I've ever seen a situation like that where somebody does give his teammate the penalty where you just don't feel a little happy inside, you just get a little smile, you know what I mean? Because it is nice to see.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, I
because
think all the fans, everybody at the
yeah,
stadium were chanting like
yeah,
Havertz's name afterwards,
yeah,
and it
no,
was
nice.
a little heartwarming story.
Oh shit.
Um, so that's the good in this week's world of football.
Just a quick, sorry to interrupt, but just a quick little word. How are you feeling about this weekend since we're just talking a little bit about Arsenal against City?
Um,
Obviously, very
well, we
hurting.
just watched Saka go down with an injury against Lyon in the Champions League, so not good.
Yeah.
Really not good. I don't know. It's a whole. We were just talking about it on the way here. It's like we bought a bunch of depth, but all the depth we bought is basically been eviscerated.
Yeah.
Like Havertz is depth who doesn't play good football.
Yeah.
Uh, then
So
you know,
you just gave him a penalty. You said he's going to be fine. Apparently,
well,
He's
he's
gonna
going to
score
be
a hat. He's gonna
absolutely
score a hat trick.
stressing it
He's
next
gonna
minute.
score.
we said it was a good moment. If he does
Oh,
start
mate,
bossing
he's
it,
going to score 30 goals this season now.
I
Is he?
fucking hope so. We need.
Absolute
Just imagine
bollocks.
how sweet it is, though, if City lose 2 games in a row.
It won't
Oh,
happen. It's
come
not
on, man.
happening.
It's at the Emirates, man. Come on.
It's not,
Have
mate.
faith.
We like all of our depth has been eviscerated. Timber's gone. Havertz is a shell of what we
Yeah.
thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Partey's injured. Saka looks like he's injured now. Zinchenko's been terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see us getting the job done. So
Mm.
yeah, thanks for dampening my spirits after that nice heartwarming story, just shitting all over
No,
it.
I want Arsenal, but I think Arsenal will win. Have faith.
Yeah, he thought they were
Just,
gonna win the league too. So
yeah, just have faith.
yeah, you may as well just throw on an Arsenal kit,
Yeah.
become one of the boys. Um, so yeah, that was the good. Now to move on to kind of the juicier, more meaty stories. Callum, you have the bad for this week. What are you bringing to the table?
Oh, Sancho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Just can you
I mean,
expand on
yeah,
that?
just Sancho. Where do I begin? Like we've discussed in previous episodes his behavior, what's happening with Sancho. Hassan over here, big advocate for Sancho at Dortmund.
At the Dortmund, yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, at Dortmund, and we were talking about his reoccurring behavioural problems. We all know that quite recently that when the manager was asked why he was excluded from the squad, he was asked and answered saying he wasn't training hard enough, and there's a standard at Man United. A lot of people don't think he should have done that. I think there's nothing wrong with it. There's obviously different types of man management. Some people need it arm around the shoulder. Some people need to be kicked up the ass. Luke Shaw, by the way, got absolutely battered by Mourinho, and look how he's turned his career around when he was going through terrible, terrible spells. Um, and obviously, yesterday, I think it was released that he is most likely to leave in the January window because he is refusing to apologize.
But
And it's sorry is clearly the hardest word for Sancho to say because all he needs to do, and every Manchester United fan just wants to see this kid do well. And we're sat there thinking, just can apologize, mate. Like
Yeah, you gotta swallow your pride.
swallow your
Put
pride.
aside
You
your
can't go
differences.
against the manager publicly on social
Yeah.
media. Like you go into his office and you say, "Listen, boss, like didn't like you calling me out like that. How can I improve? Like let's make this work." You don't go on your fucking Instagram and go, "Oh, you know what? He's not telling the truth. He's this, and that." And it's just like, well,
think about how bad your entourage would have to be to like not,
Yeah.
go and be like, mate, you're
Just,
fucking up your whole career here.
it's a
Like,
really good point. And not only his entourage, his team, his agents.
yeah, no, but that's what I'm
Is
saying.
that's what you want? Yeah.
Entourage, like
Okay. Fair.
friends,
Yeah. Yeah.
family, agents.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I'd be like, if that were you or in a different situation, I'd be like, mate,
Yeah.
suck it up, go fucking apologize, and then go out there and show what you can do. Work hard in
Exactly.
training.
Why wouldn't you want to do that at Pride? Like,
Now you're damaged
Well,
it's
goods.
your
not.
damaged goods because what he's now giving to the rest of the world is look what my attitude's like.
Yeah.
It's not doing him any
Well,
favors.
not only that. Just think about it. Like you're an employee of the club,
Yeah.
right? You can't just be like if you're working at a company, at a restaurant or whatever. Sometimes you might not like your boss. Who
Mm,
cares? You suck it up and you work. You have to do your work. You're paid to work.
mm.
So yeah, he definitely has to change his attitude completely. And I think, like you guys said, he's ruining. Like obviously, a club will take him. Like obviously,
Well,
he will.
apparently Dortmund, just on that point I was saying
Yeah,
earlier, Dortmund are most likely to get him on loan
really.
this
Yeah,
January. They've been in talks basically.
yeah. He'll have no problem finding a club, but still, like you said, it tarnishes your reputation. You're not match fit. You've ruined a huge opportunity to be part of something. Again,
Mm,
Man United. So
mm.
But he's there's no potential for him to ever achieve this level anymore.
I agree.
Once he leaves United, it's over for him. His career will have a cap of this, and he'll always have that issue following him. Like, oh yeah, He's got attitude problems. Even if he starts scoring 30 goals a season, whatever,
Yeah.
he's never going to get back into the England squad.
Hold on a minute. If he starts scoring 30 goals a season at Dortmund,
Yeah, but everyone's just going to be like, oh, well, it's a farmers league. Oh, yeah, he can only
no, I
succeed at
still
that
think I
level.
still think a Premiership team would take a chance on him in 2 seasons' time if he's scoring consistently 30 goals a season.
A lot of things would have to change.
But that's not going to happen because
He's
he's.
taking the hard road. Like,
Oh, of course.
if he's thinking, like, oh, I just want out. I want to, like, start fresh. All somebody has to tell him is, mate, you're going to have to work 100 times harder
Mm,
to achieve the levels you want to achieve if you take that route.
yeah.
Just stick your tail between your legs, go back to the manager, sort
Apologize.
it out, and then go to work for United. And
And then ask for a move if you're not happy. But at least do it in the public eye that you've apologized, work your socks off, get back playing, and yeah, then if you're still if you know even so you're still not happy with the manager and the team and United, then yeah, push for your move.
But that's what I don't understand. Like, there's so many players, stories of players of old, even talking about Manchester United that had issues with Alex Ferguson, for example.
Yeah,
But you resolve those issues, you move on, you still work hard for the team, you get back into the team, and things are fine and dandy. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah.
why? I just don't understand why. Like you said, he's taking the hard road. He's being so stubborn and prideful.
Mm,
All you have to do is apologize, swallow your pride, and who knows, your relationship with the manager can improve
of course.
easily.
it's
I think
happened in
I
the
think it's a
always.
past.
great point he's making as well. And just to add to that, Ferguson. I mean, Sancho would already be
Be
done.
done.
The
Yeah.
fact that he's been given, so what the Sky Sports are reporting, he's still be given an opportunity to apologise, but he's refusing to do it. Now, if this was Ferguson's era, he would never play for United again. He would
Mhm.
already be, the done deal already out the window by January, right? So the fact that he's still given an opportunity to apologise, I don't think it's correct. I don't actually think we've had a worse signing since post Alex Ferguson. I can't think of one worse signing.
Yeah.
Sanchez maybe, but this one stinks even more. Di Maria, but this one stinks. This one stinks
Uh,
even more than Di Maria.
So that brings the question as well: is what is wrong with United? Like, are they just signing the wrong players?
I
Like, what?
actually, I there's
Is there a curse? Or is it?
there's obviously a cultural issue at United. I think
Yeah,
that's quite clear. However, I think we've had some bad luck
luck.
with signing players that don't have the right attitude. Like,
Yeah.
and Ole, when as everyone liked to wind me up about how crap he was, he did identify that and try to change the manner of who we were signing. We didn't want to just pay over the odds for players that didn't really want to come to the club and either come in for money and a big
Mhm.
contract. So we really tried to change that culture of signing players and scouting. Now we thought, because he was English, that he would be one of those players that fight for the back. But again, it's just another player that's just
Well, I think you made a good point. Like, if there's the unluckiness factor of, like, okay, we signed a dud, but I think you can overcome that if you have a strong base. If you have a really strong club with strong morals and a strong direction, a strong leader, then you'll sign a dud, but maybe you can rehabilitate him into a usable player. Maybe it won't be what you thought he was going to be, but he
mm,
might be usable. Whereas it seems like, okay, yeah, you guys got unlucky with some signings, but then they come into a fractured organization with no leaders, no direction. Everybody's there
they've
for
been trying to change.
themselves,
I know,
and
I
that
agree,
culture is just completely
but
gone. So that when there is an issue with those dud players,
but they've
it
tried to change it.
explodes and just becomes a
They
massive
have
issue.
tried to address that. Like, gone are the days of the signings like Di Maria, Falcao,
But
um,
I think it has more to do with just the
Sanchez.
signings, though. Like, think about, for example, what Klopp did at Liverpool. Like, Brendan Rodgers was playing under the same owners. Like, we had those owners for a while, but there was a complete culture change, and it started with Klopp. He changed everything from top to bottom.
Mm,
New training ground, all this kind of stuff.
mm,
Same thing with Arteta. Like, do you not remember the mood that was at Arsenal for so long under these owners?
mm.
Arteta's come in and he's made and obviously they gave him time, all that kind of stuff. So I think, not blaming Ten Hag, obviously, I don't know
You're blaming the owners.
the owners are definitely at fault, but like we've had the same owners, for example, same with the Arsenal, and they've been able to change it.
Oh, you're
So I
saying
feel like maybe not Ten Hag specifically, but I just feel like there's obviously something fundamentally wrong there because even
I agree.
he's supposed to a new powerful manager that's come in,
Yeah,
and he hasn't been able to change the culture
no.
But I
from
think
head
he's
to toe.
And by the way, just to add to that, it's got a
Yeah,
great point. We've had top managers in Louis
yeah,
Van Gaal,
yeah.
Jose Mourinho. Like these are two managers that are absolute pedigree winners, and they've not been able to do it
I
either.
agree, but the only thing about Mourinho and Van Gaal that I'll say is that they're more like they are obviously brilliant managers, but they're more coaches. Whereas you need somebody to come in and actually influence decisions being made at the top and at all levels throughout the
I
club.
think you can say that about Mourinho, but not about Louis van Gaal. If you think how his pedigree with Barcelona
Of
and
course, but I don't think he did like he didn't really do
no,
like
well, he
I
didn't.
feel like nothing changed at
But
United
this
when
is
he was
my
there.
point:
Yeah,
is
yeah,
we've had all these managers,
yeah.
and so there is something culturally wrong at United, and it's got to come from the top.
Yeah.
Like
I think you're not wrong because I think when you look at what Ten Hag's doing, it's similar to what Arteta was trying to do at Arsenal. With the Aubameyang situation, he
Yeah.
said, "Mate, you don't want to play for us anymore. We don't want you anymore." And the same with Sancho. You
Mm.
don't. So he's trying to lay down the law,
Mm-hmm.
and what for whatever reason, it's not sticking. So I feel like you said, I think it's coming from way up top. And, maybe they're not making the decisions at this level, but I feel like the attitude
mm,
and,
But
the feel of the club
of
and the
course,
feel in the organization really comes from here. And if you don't have solid owners,
yeah.
I think that trickles down to players and, they might just have like a money first mentality.
of
And
course, like even Gary Neville says, like he obviously has got close friends and insiders in the club, like the dinner ladies. That apparently, like the rumors are, it's absolutely toxic in that place. From the like the players, like the staff, the players, everything. It's just there's something absolutely rotten
Yeah,
within that club.
and I feel like obviously, like you said, there's a bit of unluckiness as well because think about the signings you've made. Obviously, forget about the past ones like Di Maria and all that kind of stuff. But even the last couple of years,
Mm,
obviously Sancho was supposed to be a big signing,
mm,
didn't work out.
mm,
Varane obviously has been a little bit injured, or whatever, but
mm.
you can't really blame him for that.
I mean, Onana. I mean, that guy just loves. I think he does it for banter, letting in goals. It's like
Yeah,
15 goals in 8 games or something like that. Or no, he let in three today, so
I
it's not.
did, I did say when we
18
talked about the
goals,
Yeah,
Premier
18
League
goals in nine
prediction,
games,
it's
something like
just
that.
some of the concerning part is some of the goals that he's letting are pretty weak.
I
Like
mean,
whatever, like sometimes like a top team will face a lot of whatever, we'll just concede a lot of goals
he's
or
been
whatever. But
so bad.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
Anthony as well with the situation off the pitch happening. Like I just feel like there's obviously a bit of unluckiness. The Greenwood situation, you know what I mean? Like there is a bit of unluckiness, or there, yeah. There's
just
some,
going back to Sancho, it like boggles my mind how like silver spoon these people must be. Has
Mhm.
he never been in an altercation in his life? Like how many times have you had beef with somebody and then you're like pissed for
Yeah,
like a day or 2 days or 3 days,
yeah,
and then it simmers and you apologize and it's over.
yeah.
Like how can like if somebody legitimately just, especially if it's something like, oh, he said she said,
Yeah.
it's not like a physical, like nothing really bad happened. It's just words were exchanged. How many times have you apologized to somebody and
Of
then like
course,
2 minutes later you're like, why were we even mad at
we've
each
just
all
don't
other?
we've all
even.
experienced it through relationships. We
I
all
just
Exactly.
have
don't understand
siblings.
how soft these football players are. They're
That's what I
athletes.
mean.
They're
Like,
athletes. Like sometimes we've all been in a position where we've been at work and we've got absolutely spanked by a boss for
Yeah,
not doing something wrong. Do we sit around and sulk and then go on social media? Like the amount of power these kids have,
but that's what I'm
they
saying.
need
It's
to
just
pull their socks up. What's wrong with them?
it's a,
Get on with your job.
it's a bit of arrogance as well. I just don't like it. Like, why do you place so much value on yourself above everybody else? Like you're not just disrespecting the manager. You're disrespecting the club. You're disrespecting your teammates. You're disrespecting the fans.
I mean, these
How
people
much they're getting
forked up
paid as well.
70 million pounds
Yeah,
for
Exactly.
you.
they
Yeah.
come out to getting paid for doing something that they love.
Yeah.
Like take it on the fucking chin, right? Ultra orthodox bollocks, and just get on with it.
I don't know what his family situation is, but like if that was my kid, I'd be like, mate, I'd
Mm.
call him right away. I'd be like, you walk into that office
Mm.
and you apologize
Yeah,
and you shut the fuck up.
yeah,
You pull your socks up, you go to training and you play football. Are you like mental? Like you're
yeah.
throwing your life
And
away
it's
over.
embarrassing. Don't you have any like kind of ego or pride? Well, that's the problem. It's too much ego. But I'd feel embarrassed
Yeah.
if I was doing that, pouring a little tantrum like he's doing.
Yeah.
Like I feel embarrassed.
It is embarrassing.
I think it is that the new era, though. It's just everybody feels like they have a voice because of social media,
Mm.
and they feel like their voice is so important because they have so many followers, and
Exactly.
oh, their opinion is so revered by all these fans of theirs, and
He's being ill-advised.
I
He's
mean,
100% being
no,
ill-advised as well.
it's just the tone as well. It's just like how dare he say that about what I mean? How dare it just
It's like they were protecting their own brand.
yeah.
Anyway, move on. He's a mug.
Yeah. So
well,
there's no way back for him, even if he does
No,
really well and
he's
comes back,
100.
he's done.
I think the fact that he's, as I said earlier, that he's been giving multiple chances to apologise, and now the story has broke that he's basically had talks with the previous Oh, and it was the interim manager at the time, just before he left Dortmund. I forget
Mhm.
his name.
Mhm.
He's now obviously the full-time
Yeah.
manager. That he wants him back, and then they're in talks.
Mhm.
I think that's going to happen on a loan. I just can't see Ten Hag. I mean, he'll lose his dressing room. He's got to go. It's done.
No, yeah. Ten Hag has to stand
No,
firm,
he does.
and so
100%.
unless Sancho,
What a waste of time he has been.
yeah,
And
I can't get behind them when when
yeah,
it's just such a weak way out of such a simple situation.
Mm.
for sure.
All right, so that's the good, that's the bad, and now we're gonna talk about the ugly, and it was very ugly.
Oh
So
yeah.
Hassan,
Like
fill us
Julian,
in.
yeah, like Julian said, not ugly, very, very, very ugly. It's been the talk of the weekend. Even TNT Sports and everybody, talking about the Champions League game today. They were talking about the weekend, what happened. So obviously, for whoever was paying attention, Spurs versus Liverpool, great game of football. We did score a goal with Luis Diaz, beautiful goal. Was ruled for offside. We saw the replays, and I'm watching it. I'm like, that looks pretty on. And then they said VAR check complete. They didn't show us the lines on the TV or anything like that, by the way. And then game resumed. But I was texting my friends and whatnot. I was just that really looked onside. I know offside is black and white, but usually they show the lines, and I'm so confident that that was on. But anyways, game went on. Nothing happened, etc. And then afterwards, obviously everybody's been talking about it, and it was clearly obvious that it was onside. There was another, I think BN Sports drew their own lines, and it was a yard on. And yeah, it's been a farce ever since. The Refs Association came out and apologized, said that there was significant human error in the decision.
Looked fine to me.
Sorry?
It looked fine to me.
Yeah, classic United fan. Well, what's funny is all United fans, and I mean every single football fan was outraged,
Mm.
because obviously we don't want that happening in football. The
No.
whole point, I mean, VAR obviously was met with a lot of controversy when it was first introduced. A lot of people were pushing back against it. I personally think it has been good. Obviously, like offsides are black and white, especially goal line technology and offsides. Like technology needs to be there because those things are black and white, obviously,
Mm.
right? But the fact that this comes down to human error, obviously, and incompetence, and they just released the audio. Did you guys listen
Yeah,
to it?
it's
Yeah, I was about to comment on
absolutely
that.
nuts.
Yeah.
So I've watched the audio,
Hmm.
and it's clear that the communication broke down between the VAR room and the ref on the pitch. And then they restart the game, and I forget whatever his name, Darren, whatever, the guy
Yeah.
in the VAR room clearly realizes that the game started again, and he starts talking down to the ref on the pitch saying, pause the game, it's onside, delay the game, it's
Delay the game. Yeah.
onside, it's onside, why are we playing, it's onside. And then,
And then I think there was a second because like
but
there's
then,
obviously multiple people. The other guy was saying, "Oh no, it's onside. It's onside."
but then the ball goes out of play,
Yeah.
and they're saying at that moment, they're saying, delay the game, delay the game, delay the game. And then one of the other guys says, oh, they've restarted the game, it's too late. And all I'm thinking is like, mate, if there's a huge error, it's been literally 1 minute.
Yeah.
Just tell the ref on the pitch, we've made an error. The goal should be given. The ref can blow the whistle, give the goal, and just add 2 minutes on at the end of
Yeah,
the game.
yeah.
I like, and they were like, "Oh, the game had restarted.
I
It's
think
too late." It's
He
like,
kept
what?
he kept repeating, "I can't do anything. I can't do anything."
Yeah,
And he
it's like,
started swearing. He's like, "I can't do anything." And then there was another guy in the VAR room. No, it's onside, onside. And there was obviously miscommunication. But the main VAR ref kept saying, "I can't do anything. I can't do anything." So I don't know if there's a certain rule that prohibits you from.
But this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
The whole VAR was met with such like reluctance of stopping the game and
so
putting
now
too
they
much. So they're so scared that it needs to be so streamlined. So they're so scared of like delaying the game.
But Cal, I
exactly. That's a
agree.
very
But
good point.
that's probably why
That's
it's
exactly
happened.
why it
That's
happened.
why it's happened.
I totally agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. But what the issue is, and that is first of all, forget about VAR. In general, refs need to be better in the Premier League.
Mm.
We've always said it. We have the best players, we have the best managers, but we don't have the best refs in Europe.
Tim Howard was good.
Sorry?
Tim Howard was good,
Yeah,
though,
obviously
wasn't
United fan, classic. But second thing is like, okay, so we have introduced VAR to eliminate, like those obvious errors. For me, I can't get over the incompetence where, why is he saying I can't do anything? I can't do anything.
Well,
The ball went out of play as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And all he needs to do is all you gotta do is tell the ref, by the way, if you listen to the other, he doesn't actually tell the ref, we made a mistake. It is onside. He doesn't actually say that.
Oh, he doesn't.
All he needs to say is, "Hey, stop the game. There's miscommunication. The goal was onside. It's not offside."
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what the point Callum's making is that they probably streamlined all these rules
Yeah,
to make it like
Mm.
streamlined as possible. So like, oh, the second the game starts again, okay, you can't go back and look
Mm.
at an old replay, and it's like, mate, in that instance, literally just tell the ref,
yeah,
stop the game.
yeah.
Mm.
Award the goal.
Yeah, blow the whistle, stop the game, come to the VAR screen,
Let's talk.
let's talk.
Yeah,
Everybody take a deep breath, and then he can say, okay, look, the goal was onside. So just go back, give the goal, and then, whatever. Tottenham's going to complain, but in the end,
One problem.
think about this. Tottenham would have complained, but in the end, they would have seen, after the game, they would have seen, it was onside. Whereas in the opposite situation, Liverpool has a way bigger complaint because it clearly was onside.
Mm.
So, like, Tottenham's complaint would have been like, oh, they shouldn't have let the game go for an extra 2 minutes after. It's like, whatever, the goal's onside, it should count. Whereas here, it's just like, okay, we fucked up.
Yeah.
And, like,
well,
now we've made a calamity of VAR all of a sudden.
So a couple points that come up out of this. So first of all, I think somebody had suggested that what the ref should have done, they should have done is tell the ref, by the way, it was there's a miscommunication. The goal is on. It's a goal. It was onside. The ref stops the game. He doesn't even have to go to the screen. He just goes to the managers, talks to the managers. They maybe tell the stadium announcer to announce what happened, or whatever. They put it on the screen.
That was
goals
what I'll
onside.
touch upon that in a minute.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like in North American sports, I obviously don't follow it too much, but I know like in the NFL and NHL, they do have the announcer, the refs. They'll have the mic and they'll talk to the stadium. Say, so my point is this incident sort of brings up the need for
to
refs.
do that.
They have to start doing.
Okay.
I feel like football or soccer is a little bit backwards in that sense. Is like all these other sports have technology
Yeah.
and there's rarely any errors like that. Why is football backwards? It's so embarrassing for the Premier League, which is such an amazing league.
It's best league.
So embarrassing.
I mean, you make a great point. That was what I was going to touch upon. So the reason why that hasn't been implemented and it's not implemented, right? So once it's been too long, how is that referee going to convey that to the whole stadium, the managers, everyone? They can't though.
Of course you can.
There's nothing in place at the moment to do that.
But doesn't have to be anything. Anyways,
So
I'm sure they will change.
They will change it. No, I agree, but that's probably another reason why once it's gone too long, they can't then stop the game 2 minutes after. Okay, it might.
But it wasn't even 2 minutes after. Okay. It was happening in the aftermath right away because the VAR check, like when he said check complete,
yeah,
it literally took 2 seconds.
Yeah, fair enough, and you're right, and like the timings were in favor of to get this done resolved pretty quickly. But in real time, the referee, the VAR team were thinking, okay, well, there's no way. It's gone too long now. There's no way to. Everyone in the stadium is not going to know what the hell's going on. It will just be. It looks like a complete mess.
My issue is the lack of common sense. So all you need to do is blow the whistle.
It's a much bigger mess now than it would have been if they had gone back and awarded the goal.
Absolutely, but
because now they could have just been like, sorry, there was a miss. Like they could have even said, oh, the mic, the headset of the ref didn't work. He didn't hear correctly, so he let the game play. They could have made up some bullshit excuse.
Because he could have blown the whistle, went like that, gave them the goal, and it comes up
onside.
Yeah. That's all it needed to take. It would have been done in a 30 seconds a minute. It wouldn't have even delayed the game that much. But even
tough though, isn't it, for Liverpool?
We're not complaining.
United fans will take whatever they can get.
Varchester, baby.
But no, I mean, even because the commentators listen to what's happening in the VAR room. So even when they were commentating, they were so confused as well. For me, the problem is the lack of common sense. I get it, it's a little bit out of the blue, it's not really happened before. All it needs is common sense. It can be done with.
I think there is. I think that Callum made a good point. There is a lot of pressure, but from the fans and the media to try to prove that. Ooh, we can use VAR and still play a very fluid football match.
Doesn't take the emotion away from the game.
Exactly. And so I think they would have, in that moment, I think that moment probably occurred indirectly because of the pressure and the stuff in the media about VAR stopping the game, and the refs were like, okay, it's too late. Just keep it going and we'll sort it out later.
I don't know. I mean, it also brings up.
It's obviously a shit show.
It's a shit show. And not only that, for example, and again, this is not just because of Liverpool, but Gary Neville was bringing it up on Skies. Something's been off about VAR, and I think it is, like you said, it's because of these pressures that it's forcing them to make. It's just VAR is a great tool. It's just being used incorrectly because for example, the Curtis Jones red card, and we see it all the time when the ref goes to see, they tell the ref to go see the screen. He went to go see the screen. The angle is paused at the moment of impact, and then they're doing slow motion showing it. Obviously, and the pundits were saying this as well. Is obviously that's going to show up as, but you have to show
The
the
lead up.
replay in a sped up version, in normal playing time version, so he can see what happened in real time instead of doing the slow mo. And also, like I said, when he first approaches the screen, the first angle he sees is Curtis Jones'
Yeah.
foot on the guy's shin. Like, okay,
Yeah.
obviously that's a red.
Thing is, I didn't even see it, and
Yeah.
all I saw was the freeze frame, and I was like, "Oh, that's definite red." It was like a
Mm.
boot right in the middle of his leg.
And I'm not even joking. The freeze frame was there for like 10 seconds. But okay, like they,
But this is where like the breakdown between technology and human error, whatever happens,
yeah,
or human decisions, is okay. VAR for me is great for black and white.
yeah,
Offside, black and white. You draw a line. There's no debate. That's what it is.
yeah,
But there's a lot of rules in football, and like,
right,
mate, the handballs with
yeah, yeah,
VAR have gone like every which way. When it first implemented, they said any ball that touches a hand, no matter what, is a handball. Now it's like, oh, was it clear and obvious? Is it in an
away from the
unnatural
offside.
position? Like, and it proves that like it's such a gray area rule that once you implement technology towards it, it makes it so difficult for the ref to make a decision. So
Mm.
I feel for them in that sense. And same with the red cards. Like red cards, yeah, they're very gray area depending on the speed. The player could have slipped and his boot came out, or
Yeah.
so. And then, like you said, they're showing like slow mo replay, like boot, bang, straight into ankle bone, and you're like,
not only that,
ooh, when you.
they're not showing all the angles as well. Like there's a clear angle where you see his foot slip, but then they're showing the other angle where you can't see his foot slip.
But
So,
that's where, yeah,
but yeah, I think you're totally correct. There will always be controversy because it comes down to a subjective point of view. It comes down to a human making a decision about how he interprets the law. But my issue is that there's a lot of incompetence clearly, and also there needs to be better training because. First of all, why is the VAR showing those slow? Like, why are they not showing all angles in the sped up version right away, and then they can do the pausing? For example, okay, the offside thing. Why was there lack of communication? Why can't you just stop? So my issue is I think the training needs to be a little bit more consistent. It needs to be at a higher level so that the interpretation of the laws will always be a little bit different based on the person, but they should be a bit closer so that there
when
is
I
that
think the
consistency.
rules need to be adapted to
Mm-hmm.
understand that VAR is going to be used.
Yeah,
Mm.
So it's like the handball rule, like it needs to be adapted with VAR in mind. The red card rule has to be adapted with VAR in mind.
yeah.
Slow mo replays are going to be used, different angles are going to be used because right now we're using rules that were, adapted 50 years ago. It's like, oh, a red card is clear dangerous play.
Mm.
It's like, oh, okay. Like that's the only rule. Oh, it's clear dangerous play.
Mm.
Like, what's dangerous play? People get red cards for doing this on a guy's neck. Is that dangerous play? Like, did the guy get hurt? Like,
No, I
somebody will
mean,
like
yeah,
walk
but
by and
that,
he'll like slap
yeah,
him,
but
and the
like
guy will go down to the
it's
ground.
not just that, is it? It's also how you conduct yourself on the pitch.
Of
You can't
course.
be aggressive or seem to hit out.
But
So
Okay,
I
but
know,
like you've
I
seen,
know what
there's a
Julian's saying. I know what Julian's saying though. There needs to be less room for interpretation, where it has to be more clear cut
but
rules and more.
I've seen like reds given, like the guy will walk up and just slap the guy like this, and the guy goes down and makes a meal of it. That's not a red card, and you have to go to
Well, I
VAR
don't know.
and
I think even if you do, if you put even on how little it is, if you're doing that to a player, like you are putting
No, but
yourself in the fire line for it.
you're right. But Julian, for example, I can't remember the games. Forgive me, but it just happened this weekend. There was one game, maybe it was the last week, where somebody like purposely shows the replays. He elbows the guy away from him.
Mm,
The guy was like on top, elbows him,
mm,
gets a red card. And there was a game this weekend. I can't remember like who was, but a player went like was chasing him. And
yeah,
went like this on his back, and
nice.
they reviewed it, didn't get a red card. You know what I mean? So
But
like, why is that?
yeah, well, like you said,
But that's what,
it's subjective. It's
of
down to
course. But there
the
needs to be better
individual
training
human.
where that it's a lot more
I agree,
consistent.
and there's really at this level. This is the most elite level
Mm-hmm.
in the world, and the biggest league in the world with the most money in the world. There isn't really room for error. You know what I mean?
Not
Like
that,
when you're
not that
talking
type of
about
error.
best in class,
Yeah.
like this is like the most elite part of the sport. You need best in class. So there's no room like, oh, okay, well, it's a learning curve. They make one mistake, you adapt. So it's like, no, there's no room for mistakes.
why I know like soccer fans are gonna hate this take, but the NFL does it the best. And I know, okay, it's the slowest, choppiest sport. So many pauses. So okay, they have the liberty to be able to recheck and check everything.
Mm.
But the NFL like
You
is
can get yourself a corn dog or a hot dog in the middle
yeah,
of it.
mate.
Yeah,
That's why you get your beers, your
yeah.
Budweisers, all the
See
refs
what
check.
new Avengers films coming out.
Yeah, it's just marketing. It's
Yeah,
just a money making machine out there.
absolute tosh.
Yeah, but they do a good job, but they've also been doing it for 20
Oh
years
yeah.
now, whereas it's pretty infant when
Mm,
it comes to soccer, the
mm,
the use of technology.
mm.
Anyway, all I'm gonna say is I was absolutely seething
Yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah.
weekend. I was so rattled. I couldn't. I slept thinking about it. I woke up thinking about it. It was very very whack, very upsetting, and it was nice to see that the whole footballing world was in support of it because you don't want to see that's happening to anybody's team. Obviously,
I
it's
slept like
just
a baby.
I
It's
was
beautiful seeing
absolutely
Liverpool
loving it.
below
Was
us.
really enjoying it.
he was. Oh yeah, we were watching the last bit of it together. But oh man, I was struggling. City lost.
Oh, it's salt in the wound as well. Matip just fires it top
Oh
cheese
man,
on
that was
him.
just so cruel. I've been a critic of him for a little while because obviously
Yeah, it's
he was getting
beautiful.
old. He's got to move on. He played amazing, and then that own goal was so
He
cruel.
rifled it top
Oh,
corner.
beautiful finish!
Yeah.
Fantastic finish.
He would have no
It was
chance.
literally the last second of the game. It was
Uh,
just a cruel game. And that obviously made things worse. If we won, obviously, the controversy will still be there, but it was definitely a tough one to take. But we move on.
Um, all right, so that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sums up some of the big stories in football this week. We're gonna jump into parlays that pay. It's the name we're going with. We're each gonna pick a result from next week's Premier League matches. We're gonna put a parlay ourselves, some real money, $10 on the line, and each week either we lose the parlay and we'll start at 10. If we win some money, we'll put that into next week's parlay. Feel free to take our expert picks if you're looking to make one yourself. Um, so Hassan, what do you got for next week's matches?
Yeah, for this weekend, it's a lot of interesting matchups, but I'm gonna go with Villa away to Wolves. I'm gonna put Villa down to win. They obviously just came off beating Brighton 6-1. Ollie Watkins is an absolute beast. I feel like he'll get a goal. If you guys want to add that to the parlay as well.
Wolves coming off beating City, you're
Well, that's
confident?
what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like Wolves have just won a game. Obviously they did beat City, but I just feel like it'll be a different type of game. I feel like it'll be a bit more open. Whereas, obviously when you're playing against City, you're just sitting back a lot of the time.
Mm.
Sure.
I just think Villa are super confident. They're high up in the table. I think they're fifth or sixth, and yeah, my money's on Villa to beat Wolves away.
Not
The
not
Midlands Derby as well. So yeah,
not that it matters when you're making a parlay, but what do you think the score is going to be?
Um, I'll do 3-1 Villa.
3-1 Villa. Okay. So you're picking Villa to win away at Wolves. Callum, what are we doing for your leg of the parlay?
Let me guess. You're doing United.
Yeah, I am. But remind me, they're away, aren't
They're
they?
home. They're home.
They're home.
Yeah,
Okay,
at Old Trafford.
perfect. Been home for a couple weeks now. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 to Brentford.
Gonna screw up our parlay on the first week.
Definitely not. Actually, I think I'm the most likely to get this one right. Just our form. We were terrible defensively today. Dalot is just, I mean, useless. Obviously, Martinez is out. Olana loves letting goals in for fun.
Did Maguire play?
No,
No. Who was it at the back today?
if I remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
Varane and Dallo and who else?
Yeah,
And Martinez is done for a bit,
3 months, I think he's
Yeah.
and Shaw's still out.
yeah. So I just think we had five easy games to get us 5 easy wins. Well, not easy wins, but 5 winnable games.
Yeah.
And we lost to Palace. Went great against them.
You guys lost. The Palace game was at home too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
And against Galatasaray today, and Brentford was really our only bogey man out of these 5 games. And I think we've got, I can't remember who we've got the following week, but we're 5 winnable games, and I thought that's going to relight our season, but just can't. We're just on such a bad run at the moment.
So that would put you guys at 3 if you guys do lose against Brentford. That would put 3 home games in a row that you'd lost.
Yeah.
You're betting on that now?
Uh-huh.
So we'll take that.
Yeah.
You're saying 2-1 Brentford. I'm gonna disagree. Not a huge endorsement for United. I think you'll earn a point at home, which is pretty good. So
Actually, that's a better shout now. Might change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what draw? Yeah, go on, I'll do a draw.
Okay.
That's
Because
more. I think that's more likely.
yeah,
You know.
Brentford are the king of draws right now. They've
Yeah, yeah,
got
yeah.
four
Let's do
draws.
that.
So
Let's do
yeah.
that.
Okay.
I think that's more likely.
So
I think it's going
1-1.
to be a real horrible drag of a game, and we'll grind it out to a draw. You know, Highland will get one like last minute.
Well, mate, that'll be good for your Conference League push.
Oh,
Try to
for
snag
sure.
that seventh spot this year.
What? So what scoreline?
1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for 1-1.
Okay.
1-1 draw. Okay, you're taking Wolves or Aston Villa 2-1.
3-1. By the way.
3-1. Okay. I'm actually gonna go with the Arsenal City match.
Ooh.
We spoke about it at the beginning. I'm gonna pick City to win,
No.
which is good. Yeah, a lot of confidence in Arsenal right now, but yeah, just all the reasons I said at the beginning. Too many injuries. We looked like crap without Saka today. The second he left, there was no more threat in that game. We don't even really have a proper right winger to replace him. I don't think we're gonna start Reece Nelson,
No, I think it'll be probably Jesus and Ketia Trossard up front
which
with
yeah,
Martinelli's. It's not too inspiring, obviously.
yeah. So and I think City are gonna be pissed
Yeah.
coming off a defeat against a pretty mediocre team. So unfortunately, I think City's gonna win. As crappy as it is to say.
No,
So
man.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Mm,
go 2-0 City
for
at the
sure.
Emirates.
For sure.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we looked so poor today up front. We created literally nothing.
I just feel like well today I get it, but today was away European match traveling. I feel like at the Emirates, like the
The crowd will be
atmosphere,
there,
yeah,
yeah.
the atmosphere at the Emirates has improved significantly since Arteta's come in.
It's also a strategic bet because if we lose,
Yeah,
I win money,
yeah,
and if we win, I'm just happy. I don't care
yeah.
about the money I
But
lost.
but you're screwing Calum and I because we're gonna be upset if City lose.
But so you want me to pick Arsenal?
I would love to.
What do you mean? I'm picking the most realistic result.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't want City to win, so I
so
don't.
we're throwing down a Villa victory, a City victory, and a United draw.
Season's
Um,
over already.
we'll throw down the bet and we'll update you guys next week on our winnings, and we'll roll it over. Aside from that, I think that's it for episode 3 of the podcast. We are signing off from the compound. Have a good week.
See you guys. Nice.
Yeah.